Today we're going to be building out the E-MBAV, and everything that you see here on the table is going to get put together, and we're going to build this carrier out step by step. So going over a little bit of the stuff here, this is a lot of the basic items that you'll find in a plate carrier and also in a back panel, which we're going to load up as well. But in this particular case, we have the E-MBAV with the ID Velcro patch on the front, and then the rear bag is the Molle version, which will allow us to attach our back panel adapter and the Spiritus back panel. We also have the axle AVP, which we're going to be attaching, and a couple of other of our products like the Duff, our EMP pistol pouches, and our Viper adapters for the back panel. The first thing that you're going to do is take your shoulder sleeves, and they come in the same bag as your buckles. If you're going to be running a placard on just the front, that's when you would attach these buckles. In this case, we're going to be running the AVP. So I'm going to put these buckles to the side, and we're not going to be using them in this video. You take your sleeves, you kind of fold this in half like a taco, and you're just going to slide these sleeves over, and you're going to push them all the way down. Next step is going to be attaching the front bag to the back bag. And so you can kind of take this apart a few times and find out what fits best for you. The hole is a lot larger than a lot of other carriers, and so you'll probably need to size it down. For me, I'm 6'2", 200 pounds, and I go to here, or sometimes even just a little bit past the Velcro. When you seat it, you're going to have a little bit of this excess in the back. If you pull this rear sleeve down on the back bag, you'll notice there's more Velcro to grab some of that hook. And then you're going to just take that excess and you're going to tuck that in the rear bag and then just pull that sleeve back up. That's going to ensure everything is tucked away and nothing's flapping around. So next, same thing on the other side. For me, I just go just past that little bit of Velcro, pull this back, attach it, tuck it, slide it. And then now what I can do is I can taco this again and then take these shoulder sleeves and pull them back over. You have a couple options depending on how if you're going to be running cable through here or not, how you leave this on the outside or tuck it. All right, so once you get these shoulder sleeves put on, one thing to note is if you are planning on running the placard or just for stowing them for future use in general, is you would put them in right here. So anchor them in, and then these guys can just tuck down inside the front bags when they're not in use. What I like to do is I actually like to pull these all the way down, and then I'll pull the rear bag shoulders up over it like that. There is a lot of wire management in both of these bags, and it is obviously optional. But if you stick your finger down inside the bags, there's a little hole, and the hole is 1 inch in diameter. Big enough to shove a big PTT jacket, the large ones from the 163s or 152s. And then you'll feel there's a divider once you hit here, about this region. You can run the wire into the hard armor plate bag or the soft armor plate bag. And then the wire can come out the bottom here or here, depending on which bag you put it in. So just to note. Okay, so once we get these two bags attached and our shoulder sleeves back on, AVP adapters put on, the next step is going to be attaching the cummerbund. There are two options. Obviously, you can run the cummerbund that it comes with, which is either the 3-band or the JTAC, depending on which one you buy. But you can also run standard cummerbunds, standard Velcro cummerbunds. And so whether it be one that you tie together or one that attaches with Velcro, it doesn't need to be the 3-band. You can just use like a 4-inch elastic or webbing version that if it doesn't match up for whatever reason, those can attach there and then everything closes up. And you don't need to run the cummerbund that it comes with. So if you have a favorite cummerbund that you really like, it'll work with this rear plate bag as well. This one, the rear plate bag also has some other wire management capabilities. So you see if I stick my hand up into this, we're not inside the plate bag, we're actually inside this flap. You'll see that there's holes, there's some pass-throughs right here. So if you didn't want to run cables through the inside, you can actually dip down through the bag this way and then come out through the back and get creative with how you run your wires that way. So we're going to put the cummerbund together first, actually, and then we're going to throw this on this one. So the cummerbund, this is the JTAC one. The JTAC cummerbund is compatible with the old E-MBAV. It's similar in size and capability, except that this one's fully modular. And so the outside features 3 columns of moly on each side. And then on the inside, you've got 3610 loop. So if you wanted to run a different side armor, like the Ferro side armor, it is compatible and it'll stick there. The side armor bags that we offer do have some Velcro on the inside. So if you wanted to attach them quickly and you just want to, remove them, you can pull them off. They're going to stay in place once it's, holding it to your body. But these are meant to moly on. And so I'll show you the inside of this as well. The inside features 2 pockets. So you have a pocket for the soft armor. And then inside here, there's another flap for 6x6 hard plates. So let's get one of these hard plates here and I'll show you what I'm showing this way. You take your soft armor. This soft armor is specifically made for us by TAC 11. These are available in 2 sizes, the small medium and the large X large. The small medium is 9.5 by 5.5 and the large X large is 11.5 by 5.5. So you can see once we have the plate inside with the soft armor, that's what it looks like. And then we're going to moly this piece to the inside of the cummerbund. So let's take the other one, load up the other side. This cummerbund is, there's no left and right. It's, you turn it upside down, it really doesn't matter. So we're going to moly these on. When you moly on the armor plates, you want to make sure that the opening is facing to the rear of the carrier. So there is a left and a right version to this. You see these openings? So this one will moly with the opening facing to the back, and then this one will moly with the opening facing to the back. And for a medium, generally you want to put this right in the middle. There are 6 columns of moly here. So, and then this one's 4. So I find that it works best for me when I go just smack dab in the middle. This cummerbund is also vented. So you'll notice there's 2 layers. So you can moly from this side and this side. And then in between these 2 layers of B52 is mesh, Omega mesh. So it does breathe a little bit. If you're wearing this without side armor, it's nice. It does it does have a little bit of airflow. So once you get that on there, it's Velcroed on, you're going to take your tail, and then you're just going to tuck that into that last slot. So that's one side done. Now we're going to do the other side. Now that we have the cummerbund done, we're going to undo this Velcro here, and we're going to load these into these 3 slots on each side. Once you take it apart, just keep in mind that the back, you want these openings again facing to the back. So this side is going to go this side, and then this side is going to go over here. So it's going to be easier for me to put this side in first because I have the Velcro going on top. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one aside. I'm going to load this one first. So you'll see these bar tacks right here. These bar tacks create the center points or the dividers for these. So if I stick my hand inside the hard plate pocket, you can see that I can shove this through right here, pull it through. Once I have those pulled through, I'm going to grab the other side. And I found that it's easier to do it one at a time. So once I push this one through, I'm going to look inside this bag. I'm going to find the top, and then I'm going to attach it. Because if I'm dealing with 6 different tails all inside there, and I don't know I can't see what I'm doing, it gets really, really messy. So if you look inside here, I got my bottom, my middle, then my top. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to find those ends of the Velcro, and I'm going to line them up. This may take a little bit of adjustment depending on your size, but you can see you just line up the Velcro just like that. Once I do that, then I can move down to the middle. And then I'm going to find the middle one here. I'm going to do the same thing. And then the bottom. I could kind of pull on it. So one of the cool things about the E-MBAV is that the way the cummerbund is designed, you can actually run your hard armor over or under these straps. So depending on how it's going to feel differently if the cummerbund's underneath the armor versus over the armor. So that's a cool little option here. Before we put the hard plates in, we're now going to insert the E-MBAV soft armor in the rear bag and the front bag. So again, these are made specifically for our E-MBAV by TAC 11. These are also available on the site. This is the new HG2 standard, which is equivalent to 3A. So label facing the body, we're going to kind of taco this. I like to fold it up like this. And the soft armor goes inside this back bag right here. There's a separate compartment. And so once you have this folded up, you're just going to shove it in, and then you're going to splay it out. And then you want to grab this bottom part, pull this mesh part over as you're letting that armor fill out the bag all the way into the corners. Once you have it flat, you can then take your thumbs and kind of pull on it to line up that Velcro and reattach it. And then now the soft armor is in that dedicated bag. So same thing with the front. Kind of work it in there, make sure everything's flat, and we're good. Again, one of the benefits to the E-MBAV is that if you only want to run soft armor, you can run soft armor. You don't have to put hard plates in to these bags. So you can run it just as a soft carrier, and you can also take these off and it'd be a very low pro carrier, or you can scale up very quickly and add plates. The plates we're using in this video are the U210 plates from Hesco. We currently have these on the site right now for an insanely good price. These are a special threat plate that are lighter weight. So I'm going to put these in the bag. So satisfying. Goes in nice and snug. Pull it down. Tuck that flab back in. I'm going to do the same thing on the back. So you see the separate bag here. Now for this one, we're going to go, it's more comfortable in my opinion if you run the plate on top of the cummerbund. So I'm going to actually get the plate in and go over the top, because I like the feeling of the cummerbund going over the soft armor, but under the plate. So it's not pulling that plate into my body. It's a lot more comfortable. So that's going to go just like this. And I'm going to make sure that these are not twisted, so I can feel inside that all these, I don't know if you can see inside there, but these are all nice and flat. Then I'm going to take my tail, pull it down, tuck it in, and smash the whole thing down. So now you can see I've got soft armor and hard armor in this carrier. Now we can start putting on all of our accessories. We're going to have a placard on here. We're scaling it up right now. Full placard, RDC, MPU5, and back panel. When you order the JTAC cummerbund, it's going to come with 2 low-profile radio pouches. Obviously optional. I'm going to be using 1 radio, and instead of mauling on the other one, I'm going to be adding a multi-tool pouch, or 2 of our EMP pistol pouches, one for a pistol mag and one for a multi-tool. The cool thing about having 3 columns here is that you can do a variety of different combinations, from a pistol and rifle mag to 3 rifle mags, or even our scout pouches, because it holds, it's a 3-column molly. You can also get creative with attaching things to the elastic if you really wanted to, or routing cables, however you want. So my left side, we're going to do radio pouch. So we're going to take this radio pouch and we're going to molly it on. What I have found is that for me, I like having this 1 column of molly open on the inside here. So instead of running my radio, I'm going to run it back as far as I can. So I'm going to go here. Okay, once I get those pulled all the way through, we're going to dip back up into that last slot. And these radio pouches are really nice. They will hold 2 AR mags very nicely. And then when there's nothing in them, they're nice and flat. They don't take up a lot of room. You don't have this big pouch getting in the way. And then on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 pistol pouches side by side. So these are our EMP ones. So this one's, I'm going to drop down just a little bit lower here. And it's set up to where you could run this on a belt. There's mini molly on the back of these. But if you're just standard, if you're mollying on the standard molly webbing, then you're going to skip. You're going to go under 2 of these. These are set at 1/2-inch intervals. So I'm going to go 2. There we go. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to be running a Spiritus back panel on this particular setup. And so one of the other products that we offer are these back panel adapters. This one is specific to Spiritus. We also offer them for Faro and Cry back panels. Simple MOLLE attachment. For this one, there's a little trick because you can see the design. This design is similar to our tow carrier in that the top row of MOLLE, you only have 4, and then it goes down to 6. So there are some carriers that have full 6 all the way across the top, and it's not really going to affect it. We're just going to tuck the webbing in through one slot before we start the weaving process. I'll show you how to do that. So for these middle guys, these will attach on the outer ones. Let's get these 2 middle guys here. And the reason we decided not to add zippers to this is to give everyone the option to run different back panels. We don't have a proprietary back panel. We try to make our gear work with a lot of different brands across the market. And so what we'll probably end up doing is we ever do develop a back panel that is proprietary, we'll just have our own adapter for it so that you can run it on other carriers as well. So for this guy, we're going to actually, because this is going to start here, we're going to take this and we're going to dip in one, and then we're just going to come out right there. And that's where we're going to start our MOLLE attaching, just like that. So now we're going to pull it down. Now you can see we're starting on the same row here. You can see here. Okay. So you can see now we're all in a row, and we're MOLLEing through the same rows as we go once we tuck to those 2 like that. So once you get to this spot with these 2 middle ones, these middle ones right here are going to tuck up into the carrier, and then those 2 middle ones are going to be done. So once you have it all attached, you get to the end, you'll see you'll have these tails right here. These tails tuck up into the carrier. So you'll see this. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually just find that last MOLLE slot and I'm going to shove it in there like that. Same deal with this guy. So that's locked in there. You can see the back of it now. Flatten everything out. So even if you're not running the back panel, you can see with this, with the back panel off, the adapter looks really clean. You still have the ability to run wires, do wire management, attach other things if you wanted to, run antennas, run back panel ID, if you're police or you need to run something on the back, you still have all those options. The back panel from Spiritus, you can see, has these proprietary attachments that works on the back of their LV119. We took a pattern that allows us to attach. So this pattern on the back of the Spiritus version interfaces with this. It uses their proprietary zippers, as well as where the zippers are set, everything's going to line up. So attaching this is fairly simple. We didn't add a bunch of extra MOLLE, except for these vents right here, just for cable management or antennas. We wanted to keep it as easy and intuitive as possible. So you can see there's 2 here for these 2. There's Velcro here for this. And then we have the one in the middle for these guys. And then the Velcro down here for this. So you start at the top. And we're just going to run these buttons through. I have found that it's easier to do one at a time and just button it, because if you start trying to fish them all through, if you bump it once, they could all come out. And it's very frustrating. So once you get it through, just snap it. And if you have really big fingers, a pair of needle nose pliers might help you out. Velcro will line up, and then you get these 2 middle ones and do the same thing with the middle. The process is the same for their MOLLE adapter. So this will also work with their MOLLE, their little MOLLE adapter cage thingy. So then this guy is going to stick to this bottom piece of Velcro. Now you can actually take the zippers. There are 2 different zippers because we have this running on the outside and we're going to be putting quite a bit of stuff in this thing. I'm going to use the zippers that are closest. I'm not going to really tighten it down too much. I'm going to give myself some room here. So you grab that zipper and seat it. Voila. Goes on. Same thing with this one. And there you go. Now the back panel is attached to the back of the E-MBAV. While we're focused on the back panel, let's load this thing up real quick. So these are the banger pouches. We do make an accessory that's pretty cool for the banger pouches. These are our Viper adapters, Viper tabs. So instead of having this big problem, all that noise, comes with the panel side that attaches like this. Covers all that Velcro. And then the side with the little Viper teeth covers this side. You got little tabs here. So now when you close it, it's nice and quiet. We're getting those bangs and smokes out. So we've got 2 IWA smokes, a red smoke and a green smoke. Those fit in nicely. Close that Viper tab. And then on this side, we've got 2 different types of multi-bangs. There you go. In the main GP pouch, we're going to put the VS17 panel. Fits in there perfectly. And then I've got some 550 cord, which I'll throw in this one. And then I've got, this is full of lock picks. Got a door shin as well. Shove that in there. And then I got a set of little shorty Milwaukee bolt cutters. There's the back panel. Go ahead and load our radio. So we got an MPU5. We're also using an RDC, so we got a couple of other cables. Attach the cables here. So these are specifically designed for military radios. So you can see how nice that looks with it boxing out and then stopping right at that PTT cable. This goes up and over the center cable, or I'm sorry, center antenna, and then just secures just like that. It's super easy. This is also breathable, so it's not going to really hold a ton of heat. Cable wise, we can get really creative with how we route these cables. I'm going to slap this panel on first, and then I'll route this cable up to the RDC. So this is an AVP from Axle. We have our DMR. This is the DMR short, because I've got these MDT magazines in here for our Seekins Hit Pro. We've got a tourniquet pouch on the bottom, and then we've got the RDC attached. The cool thing about running this specific setup is that these panels, just like a back panel, can get swapped out or taken off, and you don't have to take off the armor or take off a chest rig or any other thing. It's just a full placard kind of setup. And so this is just going to sit on here and stick. And then remember, we installed these AVP adapters. So you're going to pull these back out, and these just stretch and hook into these G hooks. And when we put this on, they're going to stretch out even more. And this is actually a really nice spot to hook your PTT, or you can take these off and hook them onto here. But Yeah, these panels are really nice for swapping loadouts. We also have our duff. I'm going to load the duff on actually right now as well. Inside the duff, we're going to have our IFAC. I've got a waterproof DACA pouch, which I like to keep my notepad and pen in so it doesn't get wet. If there's other items in here that I don't want to get wet, it's just a nice little accessory to waterproof your kit. And the small one fits in the duff really nicely. So that goes in there. I have a spare tourniquet. And then I like to always have a lighter in my kit just for, being able to start fire or maintain kit. We're going to use this in the pack or the flap configuration, so like a dangler. The duff can be used as a fanny pack and also can be mounted depending on the rig you have. But this one, we're just going to mount this guy right underneath here. And this is where our cummerbund's going to attach as well. We do have a couple options. Do this a little lower here. We attached a pistol pouch on this side. So we're going to put our mags in here. And then we've got a multi-tool. This one. Got a couple of other extra items that are going to go in the rear bag. I always like to have zip ties. One thing I also like to have that I don't have on this table is a roll of electrical tape. And I've got 2 chem lights, 2 IR chem lights. Those I'll throw right here in the duff pouch. And then we've got a fixed blade, which I'll attach to the cummerbund. So you can grab one of those molly slots. So it's riding over the armor, but underneath the cummerbund. And then gloves, I'll probably just end up attaching these underneath my duff or sticking them in a cargo pocket. Attaching the MPU-5. You kind of want to know where your stuff is going to be sitting and riding. So when you start stuffing cables, in this circumstance, I like to have this either on the AVP adapter, or if you can get it underneath this piece on the placard, it actually is pretty secure. So right there, actually clipping that, you can see this part on the AVP. The alligator clip will grab right there, and it's pretty rigid. So that's a good spot for it. Now these cables, you can't get too crazy. You obviously need to have, enough slack depending on how you set up your carrier. This one's long enough to where I can go through the cummerbund up over the shoulder to the push to talk. You also have to consider if it's something where if you're going to change from like a plate carrier to a chest rig and you're not going to want to spend a lot of time taking your cables out, sometimes just putting the radio on and stuffing your cables is more ideal than trying to route all these things. But we'll route it. And I'm just going to go. What's cool is I can actually go through here, pulling that slack out. Now I can actually go all the way up. When I start feeding that cable through that hole, and you can see I'm going to pop out. Just right there. I'm actually going to go underneath the shoulder sleeve. And then you can see this one's labeled MPU-5. I'm going to attach it right here. There we go. So now there's not a lot of excess cable. Normally this would plug into the USB, but since we're going to use that for the RDC, we have another cable that's going to attach to the RDC. There we go. Now this one goes from the push to talk to my amp. So I'm just going to wrap this guy up here. The DMR placard does have a little zipper compartment. So I've got like a little dope card in there, but also for storing small quick access stuff like cables. That's a nice addition. Now this carrier is finished. So you can see everything that we had on that table is now on this carrier. So let's put it on. So I like to go underneath my soft armor and kind of layer it. So it kind of pinches right there. And then that whole, it creates a nice little channel. Same thing on this side. So I go underneath, soft armor goes underneath, it stops. It kind of goes as far as it can go, and then I can actually attach this whole thing. Okay, so there we go.